Hi, it's Nick Jervis. Welcome to the second training in the MCO methodology. This one is all about conversion. And it's my favorite because if you master this conversion process, you can spend a lot less on marketing to generate as many clients as you want to get to the profits that you want. It's a proper game changer. So if you get this right, and I urge you to do so, then it will make a massive difference to your business. So please come on the journey with me and let's get good at conversion. And if there's any questions at all, just ping them into me. Beneath the training, you'll find the usual email address to send me any questions. I can follow up for you. So they are the biggest opportunity. As a marketing guy, I really shouldn't like conversions because actually if you're bad at converting inquiries coming in, you need to spend more money on marketing. So you need to keep asking me what else you should be doing. But the reality is I work in partnership with my clients. I want my clients' businesses to be better, to be stronger, to be more successful, more profitable, which means that you've got to fix your leaking bucket, and conversions is one of the biggest ones where people that would become your clients are sent away because something goes wrong. And I want to fix that for you and make you good at it because your competition by and large are useless. So you can be half decent at this and makes a massive difference. So imagine where your numbers are, and they'll be different for everyone depending on what your business is, whether you've got staff, whether you're on your own, but you might get 20 inquiries a month. If you convert at 20% of those, that's 4 new clients per month. If you work on improving everything I'm going to cover today and in the next training, you can dramatically improve that, which for a small business like me, like many of my clients, one-man bands, that can make a big difference. But if you've got a big client department with lots of team, if each of them improve it, you can multiply this by the number of people you've got in each department. So if you make this better, those 4 clients, 20 inquiries, 20% conversion rate, make it 10% better, that becomes 6 clients. Just a 10% increase gives you 2 more clients now, whether they're worth 100 a month, 200, 500, 1,000, whatever you charge. And remember, if this is recurring revenue, this is a dramatic improvement because every month you're going to take on 2 more clients. So if it's 500, that's £1,000 more this month, 2,000 next month, 3,000 the month after. It just keeps on accumulating. So it really is worth spending time getting this right. So question for you. What's the hardest job in marketing? What is the toughest thing to do? The hardest thing to achieve with your marketing? I'll just give you a moment to think about that. For me, it's very simple. I mean, there's lots of difficult jobs. Consistency, I've thrown at me, is one of the hardest things. That is difficult, but very easy to fix if you spend the first part of every day marketing your business, making it grow. But the hardest job is to make that telephone ring, because it's the be all and end all of everything for you when it comes to marketing. If your telephone rings enough, take on enough clients, you bill or invoice enough, you collect enough money, everything in your business takes care of itself. So it really is all about making that telephone ring. And another reason why that's so important is you need to think about what it takes to make that telephone ring and what are the costs involved in making that telephone ring, because they are not insubstantial and they will vary for each business. But these costs that I'm going to show you are not unusual. They soon add up, and you need to think about this, because hopefully it makes you realize why you want to spend some time working on this process. So let's imagine you have some website hosting, decent hosting now, where you're not getting hacked every week, which is secure, which is fast. It's going to be anything from £25 to £50 a month. Call center to manage your calls, £100 max. £100 for marketing software, email software, web software. The new favorite software I'm using for capturing email addresses on my site, which is linked from the homepage. Live chat you might have on there. You might be spending a couple of grand a month on Google Ads. If you're a now business, if you're a nurture business, you shouldn't be, unless you've got cash flow to bank that, because it will take time for leads to get onto your site, go on your email list, and eventually buy your services. I've been using Google Ads for my business for years, but I've been going for years, since 2003. Copywriting for articles if you're not doing it yourself soon adds up to 2,700 a month. Now imagine if that's producing 50 inquiries. Each of those inquiries costs £54. If we're only producing 20 or 30 inquiries, that obviously nearly doubles that price. So every time your phone rings, or you get an inquiry form, or you get a live chat completion, that is costing you £50 to £100 per inquiry, which is why you need to jump on it. You need to do everything you do to get that inquiry over the line and to get it to convert, because it's cost you money to make that happen. So if it's £50, £100, you've got to get onto that phone call quickly. you've got to do your best to convert that inquiry. And this is especially true for now businesses, because if you miss that call, then move straight on to the next. With a nurture business, hopefully what we're doing is building that trust with them, getting them onto our email list, emailing them every week, and then getting them to schedule a call with us, basically following my model. And by that point, they're prepared to wait a week to have that call with you. But if you're a now business, someone looking for a mortgage broker, looking for financial advice, someone that needs an accountant, a lawyer for something to do now, then you can't afford to mess it up, because this is what it's costing you for each missed call. So there's 3 steps we're going to look at to improve your conversion process. And if you have questions about your particular each of these stages, or you just want me to check you're doing them right, just email me on the normal address and I will gladly look at them for you. So the pre-sell, the actual call itself, and then the follow-ups, which there must be many of. So why must you pre-sell? The most important thing is that nobody has any time these days. Everyone's pressed for time. Everyone values their time. And when people are looking for someone to help them, they're looking for an expert. They're not looking for an average provider. They want the best provider possible to help them get the service, whatever service it is they're looking for. They want the best one, the best personal trainer, the best sports therapist, the best marketing consultant, the best sales expert, the best coach, trainer, etc. They want the best of each of those. So that's what they're looking for. We've got to pre-sell that. And that pre-sell takes place as soon as they hear your business name, they're recommended to you, or as soon as they find your website. One of the first places they will go, if they're recommended to you, they will Google your name, and one of the first things they'll see is your Google My Business listing. And if you haven't already worked through the module, please make sure you do, because for Google My Business, I'm not a local business, but I still believe it's very important, because people go and check my reviews and make sure I know what I'm doing. But if you're a local business, then not only will they check you out, be happy to see that you're good, but it will bring you business, because you'll feature in the map search results, sports therapist, Abingdon, hello Stuart, personal trainer, Long Ashton, Bristol. People will find you and check you out. And when they see you're good, they're halfway there. So good listing, as shown in the training, and plenty of reviews, at least 4-star plus. I always say you've got to follow my review collection process, because what you're looking for is, if you have that strange person that didn't like the way you spoke to them on the phone when you said you couldn't help, they give you a 1-star review. If you've only got 2 or 3 reviews, your review score plummets. If you've got 10, 20, 30, then it doesn't make much of an impact. So you need those 20 or 30 to protect yourself from those interesting people that come along in life. And then we got the website pre-sale. So someone's got, at most, you've got 90 seconds for them to know, like, and trust you, and be prepared to give you their money. They want that expert. So how do we do that? We've got to have depth of expertise, and we've got to have proof of expertise. Depth of expertise is talking about enough content on each page. All that content is all about the prospect, and there's enough content for each service that you provide or product that you sell that shows that you really do plenty of this thing that they're trying to sell. If I'm looking for a mortgage broker to help me with a buy-to-let, if I only see one page about mortgages generally, and that's it, nothing specialist about buy-to-let, about investment portfolios or what have you, I'm probably not in the right place. But if I see 10, 15 pages about all the different mortgage deals available for all the different types of clients, then I start to think I'm in the right place. I'm dealing here with a specialist, an expert, and they're going to be worthy of my money, my time, at least having a chat with them. That's what we're looking for with depth of expertise. The other point is, if you don't have enough content about your services, you've got no chance of Google finding you, no chance of getting free traffic to your website. What a waste. Every page you add it's like having premium bonds. If you have one, you've not got a lot of chances of winning. If you have hundreds of things, then your chances go up dramatically. And it's the same with your website. So if you have more pages, you've got more chances of Google sending people to them, as well as people finding your content. And for those of you that say, well, too much content looks ugly, you won't sell any services, your phone won't ring without enough content. Those people that don't like to read a lot will skim subheadings, images, bullet points. But for those that are detailed people, which is probably 30-40% of the population, if you don't have enough content, they are gone. They are not going to entertain you as their expert, because you haven't told them that you know enough about what they're looking for. So it really is vital for Google and for your human visitors, your prospects and clients. Proof of expertise, you've shown that you know what you're doing with the content you've got, but then we want that backed up with reviews from your clients, with client success stories, transformation stories, where how they came to you before, where they were afterwards, what happened, any qualifications that are relevant, any press coverage. The crucial thing to remember here is if you've got press coverage or you've got qualifications, don't then link off to the website that says all about them. Link to a page on your website. You explain to the client why this makes you a better service provider for their needs. The last thing you do when you get someone to your website, having made that investment in your marketing, costs you £50, £100 per person, don't let them go. You get them to a page on your site, you explain what it means, and then says, and that's why you should pick up the phone to us and let us tell you how we can help you. That's what we're looking for. When you get to the call, if you're a DNA in our business, so people phone you, people go looking for your service when they're in need of it instantly, then we've got to be on that call quickly. We've got to have a process for dealing with this, because no one's going to wait. Everyone's got limited time, and if you don't answer, they're going to hit the back button and go to your competition. It is as simple as that, and that's 50 quid, 100 quid out the window straight away, wasted. So what happens, and I've had so many bad experiences of trying to contact different providers. I remember I've got a back condition. I was trying to find a sports therapist, and nearly every one of them went out of their way to not help me. Phones weren't answered. There was no instant book system, which for someone in pain, would be quite a useful thing. So if you're making these mistakes, if the receptionist doesn't answer the phone, or you've got no call center, you're on a mobile and it goes to voicemail all the time, get a call center, because they can take that call, and whenever you're busy, you'll have messages taken. They can even book people into your automatic diary so that they're ready to speak to them later. If no one's there to take a call of any sort, they'll go somewhere else. Calls promised back but never materialize, or someone's promised to call back in a few days, but who's going to wait for that few days? Like I say, it's urgent. If you're providing a now service, they need to speak to you now and believe that you can help them. So with a nurture business, obviously what you should be doing is getting people onto your email list. They download your item of value, they hear from you by email every week, and at the end of every call, which you give them advice and you give them information, you offer a way for them to book in for a call with you, benefit named call, which I go through in the marketing plan and marketing DNA. And that way they're already pre-sold. So this is a slightly different call for a nurture business. It takes longer to get them over the line. When you do, they normally already know, like, and trust you, so they're much more likely to go ahead and book that call with you. And don't forget to name that call. So mine's always a more clients now call, because I show my clients how to attract more clients. You make your call a benefit named call. Once they get that email, they click into book in your online diary. And I use Acuity, which you can get nickjervis.com/get/Acuity. The reason I like that, I was talking to an Academy member the other day, is it blocks out, if I put something in my Outlook diary, it automatically takes out that available space in Acuity. I can set up Acuity so that it only shows 2 or 3 appointments each day, because in the old days when I didn't have to, when I wasn't busy all the time, the last thing you want is someone to come to your website or go on your email list, told they can book an appointment, they look at your diary, and basically every time slot of every day is available. Because remember what I've said, we're looking for an expert here, we're not looking for an average Joe. If your diary is empty every single day of appointments, they know that you're not busy. It's not a great message. And so many times I've gone on to sites where they don't understand nurture, they're a nurture business, they offer a call, not an item of value, and I go to book a call, just test them out, and I could book 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock, 11:30, 12, 12:30. Dreadful message. So the beauty of this software for a nurture business is that you can say, if you are busy, if you have got a lot of time, you can make it look like you haven't got a lot of time, and that scarcity works. And recently I've been shopping at a massive online or massive store, physical presence with good online presence, and I've noticed I've been looking at the same product for my wife's birthday, and they've always said for 2-3 months only a few left, and they're using scarcity on me. They don't say, yeah, we've got 10,000 in stock, so come back whenever, which maybe go, oh, no one wants it, so I'm not going to buy it. They're saying there's only a few left all the time, so I know it's a game, but it works. It's scarcity, and it's the same thing with your appointments. If someone thinks, oh, there's only one appointment tonight, I better book it. So it works a treat for a nurture business. Yeah, just covered that. And yeah, don't forget, even though they're on your email list, if you send them off to a diary to book a call with you, on that booking page, have lots of reviews from people that have already taken that call with you, that said it was excellent and really enjoyed it, because you've still got to make them value that call and get on the phone with you, because it's that chance where you have to help them and sell to them at the end of it, obviously, but without hard selling. So what I call a meaningful conversation, this is when you have that first chat, whether you're a nurturer or now, where someone's actually at the stage where they're interested in what you do, the service you provide. So why is it so important? They may never have used a service like yours before, or if they have, they've used it a handful of times. They might have had a dreadful experience with a really cheap provider, a bulk provider who gave no quality, and so they've never valued your service. So your job is to get to the nitty gritty of what this will do for their life, what impact your service will have on their life, and then you have to actually get them to put a value on that. And when you do that, it is transformational, because once someone goes through you take them through a process, so they start adding up what this is worth to them. The amount you say at the end is not going to put them off. If you don't get them to go through this value process, they're never going to go ahead, whatever it is you charge, because you won't have got them to value it. So valuing is all about them. It's about getting them to the point where they are absolutely drooling to work with you. They cannot believe anyone except you can help them. This is what we're looking to get to at the end of the call. They're excited. They can see a light at the end of the tunnel. If you do your job well, the close is not a close. It's just a, shall we get on with it? Like, yes, please. What you've told me is fantastic. So it's never about your service. They assume you're the specialist at financial advice or at mortgages or at chartered tax advice, whatever it is. They assume you know what you are doing. You've got two ears and one mouth, and it's so important to use them in those proportions that, especially at the beginning of the call, you want them to be talking all about them. What does this mean to you? What impact will this have on you? If we get rid of your back pain, how are you going to feel at the end of that? What will it be like to get up and be able to just run around the house if you want to? You've got to get to the pain, desires, and emotions, and then you've got to get them to spell out what would that mean to you? What would that be worth to you? You're getting them to think about the value and the improvement in life that they're going to see as soon as they go through this process. So it's a wonderful thing for them to go through. You've got to get them to get to this point, because once you explain that they put a value on their life being transformed by your service, and then you explain how your service will absolutely get them the results they're looking for, it's an easy conversion. So here's some examples just to get you thinking really about what your value is for you. Say mortgage broker, client says, how much will you charge me to get me a mortgage? Well, if you just answer it's just a price, there's no way they can attribute value. But if you explain, if you find out what they're doing this for, is it their dream house? What would it mean if they lost this? They've been waiting to buy it for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. What would that do to them? Not financially necessarily, but how sad would they be at that? What's the value on that? Would they pay $1,000 for a mortgage provider to get them their dream mortgage quickly and effortlessly? Absolutely. If it's a mortgage for a portfolio or a property developer, what's it worth to them in terms of annual income? If they get this mortgage, what profit will it make for them? Times that by 10, 20 years for the time they're going to own the property. Add that up, and suddenly a mortgage broker fee becomes nominal. If they get the wrong loan and they're paying interest, higher interest than they need to, what's that going to be? If you're the mortgage broker and they're taking out a loan for 200 grand, do the maths. Get them to do the maths. 200 grand. Okay, if you pay 2% over the odds with someone else that's not a specialist like I am, what's that going to amount to over the course of a 20-year loan? Get them to spell it out, then explain how you won't let that happen and your fee is nominal in comparison to the saving you're going to make them, because you're getting them to spell out the value. Once you've done that, you then explain how you are perfectly placed to dive in, solve the problem, get them the ideal mortgage, and away you go. In other places, personal trainer, what's the value to them losing that weight they've been trying to get rid of for years? What's the value, if they can't lift anything at the moment, of lifting that grandchild? Get them to go through the process. They've got to do this brain cog turning and go, yeah, this is important to me. This is really important to me. If you're a sports therapist, back pain gone. If I could get rid of my back pain completely, I'd pay tens of thousands for that. I can't. I can manage it, but I've only got through managing that with sports therapists, with osteopaths, with regular strength training and cardio, etc. That's taken ages to get there. If someone had been said to me, I can shortcut this, I'd have paid a fortune for it, because that pain was unbearable at times, and I just had to endure it. I still endure it, but it's manageable. If you're a financial advisor, what's your future going to look like? If someone's got a dream of having a 1 million pot, 5 million pot, 10 million pot, what's that going to buy them? It's that security. It's that that happiness, the not having to worry about money, which is one of life's biggest stresses. Get them to value what that is worth. It's vital to them. So you've got to get them whatever your service is. And if you're struggling with this, by all means say email me, I'll help you. But you've got to get them to put a value on this, because until then your service is just a service. It means nothing. So you've got to get them to value it, to realize what you're going to do, how you're going to transform their life by adding value in the service that you provide. If you sell on an hourly rate service, which I'm not a fan of, you're much better off selling fixed fee services. But if you sell an expensive fixed fee service, then the best thing to do is not to try and sell an hourly rate, because if we're talking about £5,000 or £10,000, you're never going to sell a £5,000 coaching program unless someone's been on your list for a long time and likes and trusts you. But you will sell a 90-day £300, £500, £700 course, because it's very hard to go from not knowing someone, say this guy, and this isn't a real person. I think that's the website name, thisisnotarealperson.com, just generates random faces, bit creepy. But if you hadn't met him, in the street and say, I'm going to change your life, give me £5,000. You going to do that? Of course you're not. You can't go from not knowing you to £5,000. Even if you're buying a car, which is exciting, fun, a good experience, you're not going to buy it without looking at adverts, brochures, showrooms, internet browsing, going out for a test drive. You do all of that because you're making an expensive purchase. So if you're trying to sell an hourly rate or a high fixed fee service, sell step one as a fixed fee, and then it's much easier to get to step two once you explain what step two is. On that first service, you go into details about it, they can see it, they spend more time with you, either on a course of a few Zooms or one long Zoom, and they think, yeah, okay, this is the person that really can help me. I'm prepared to invest this extra money to make this happen. So that's my advice if you're selling hourly rates or high price services. When can you give someone a price without a meaningful conversation? Never. You've got to have that chat. If someone says, just give me a price, what is your coaching called? Just email me a price. Don't do it. You need to get them on the phone and say, happy to do that. Let's just have a quick call and I'll be able to explain what I do, see if it's a fit for you, because it might not be. And be open about that. Saying that it might not be for them is an attractive thing to do, because someone thinks, I'll decide if it's for me or not. No, you decide. So you can't give a price by email. If someone says, I want to start training with you, how much will it cost as a personal trainer? Don't answer it, get them on the phone. Someone says, I need some sports physio, how much a session? Get them on the phone, have that meaningful conversation, find out what pain they're in, find out explain how you're going to make their life better. You will convert much better. It is worth it. You might let one slip through, but those that get the price from you will normally just be tire kick anyway, and use it for the next one. So it's about the same price as that guy who emailed me. I'll go with the people I've actually spoken to now. Follow up. I recommend you record all of your leads in a simple spreadsheet. It's an easy way to do it, and review them weekly and record how many you convert, what your conversion percentage is, and just work on making it better. What gets measured gets better. So if you start recording this conversion rate, you start working on making it better, you will get better your conversions. More importantly, your billing, as I said at the beginning, if you take care of the leads, your billing is going to take care of itself, because you'll take on enough inquiries every month because you know your numbers. If you don't track your numbers currently, you say, well, I think I take on 5 a month. You'll be amazed what a difference it makes when you start actually running that number, and you know then how many you need to take on each month to hit your next targets. So in terms of follow-up, as soon as you've spoken to someone, you send an email that shows you listened to them, you heard their concerns, you heard their fears, you explain why your service is ideally matched to meet them. You back this up with proof through a review or a client success story, case study. You tell them the simple thing they need to do to get things moving next. And don't make that complicated. So many times people say, fill in these 3 forms, do this. No, first of all, email me, say, yes, Nick, I want to go ahead. And then, right, here's the terms and conditions. Here's the payment link. Fine, I've said yes now. I'm halfway on the journey. If you send me everything at once, I get an email with 5 attachments, which the email provider split out, so it just looks a mess. And I look at it and go, I'm not going I'll leave it, and then I don't do it. So don't do that. Don't be like, I had to instruct a conveyancer recently for a property transaction, and luckily they were recommended that I would never have got my business, because the first email said this: Dear Mr. Jervis, no punctuation, interesting for a law firm. Please see sale estimate attached as arranged. That make any sense? Not entirely sure it does. Then if we go to said sales estimate attached as arranged, I mean, look at this. There's no personalization. Your sale they can't even bring themselves to type in the address of my mother's property. It's just too much of an effort. And I'm considering them for my transaction. So selling my mother's property now, it's not a personal emotional attachment. It's nothing important to me. It's just a transaction. Oh, great. Well, I thought it was something that had been preying on my mind for a while. No, it's not. And then even better than that, just there's the price. Not bother to put in the sale price. Oh, I think I blanked that out. Terms of business, acceptance terms. This is all about them. All they want is their terms of business signed. And if they just sent an email saying, if you'd like to go ahead, here's our price, let us know, I'd reply and said, yes, please. But instead they send this and they say, if I hadn't been recommended to them, there is not a chance in a million years they'd have got my transaction. As it is, I know they are the best people for the job because my friend says they are, and I trust his judgment, but otherwise they would never have got the transaction that they so clearly want. So make sure yours isn't like that. Make it very personal, make it very happy, make it very friendly. Show that you listen, include some reviews and case studies, success stories of your previous clients just like them. And you can do some extra things. You could send them a professionally designed brochure with some reviews, case studies, success stories, client happy stories in there. You could even put something in the post, because if this client's worth $500 a month to you and most of your clients stay for 2 or 3 years, can you afford to spend £10 sending them something nice in the post? Absolutely you can, because it's a nominal sum to you, but to them it make you stand out as an expert, a professional, a specialist, because none of your competition is going to do it. None of your competition will make that effort to stand out above the crowd. They will just do the basics. So they probably won't even send the email follow-up. They definitely won't send anything in the post. If you want to be the specialist, you want to be the expert, you want to be the one that gets the extra clients every month, then you can do a little bit more. So people always worry about following up too much. I don't want to hassle, I don't want to stress someone. Remember, you are serving, not selling. You are serving someone's needs. Now, isn't it right that 3 days after you sent that email, no later, you should say, hi, Nick, I'm just calling to check you got my email and to see if you've got any unanswered questions. There's no selling there. I'm just checking. If they say, oh, no, I'm fine, I'm just having a think, say, okay, I'll leave it with you, I'll come back to you in a week or so, whatever, you get the feeling from that call. If they say, oh, I'm glad you called, I didn't really know what you meant when you said this, learning experience, improve it for next time, answer the question, get the business. Once you made that call, email again, and then call at random times over the next few days, whatever period you agreed, different times a day without leaving messages, just to try and catch them, because of course if you just call at 9 a.m. every day and they're at the desk and they can't take the call, not going to work. So try different times of the day. If you finally get the message that they don't want to instruct you, don't want to give you the business, great, it's a learning experience. Why don't they want to use you? And warning here for you, guess what answer is not acceptable if they say this to you? It's never about the price. It's never, ever, ever about the price. That person that's sitting there saying, you're £10 too much, you're £50 too much, you're £500 too much, they've probably got a car that costs 20 grand, 30 grand, 40 grand. They've got a 50, 60, 80, 100-inch telly that costs them 1 grand, 2 grand, 3 grand. They've got, they spend money on beer, booze, they spend money on holidays, they spend money on absolutely everything. So if they're buying your service, your specialist service, and they just say to you, oh, it's just a bit too much, it's because you haven't made them value your service. You haven't got them to go through that mental process that said, yeah, no, I need that. No, I need you. I need just you. You've got to get them drooling, remember, because it's not about price. It's about you not spelling out the value. So we've got to get them to do that. They've got to get to that value. It's absolutely vital. I know it's not about price because many of my clients convert ridiculously well. If you look at my calls, calls I have, if there's someone that I know I can help, then I'm at 75%. And price isn't an issue. And the best answer I can give you to anyone that says, can you do anything about your price? And I've only been asked this twice, and I've been in business since 2003. So can you do anything about your price? And my answer is, yeah, I can put it up. Because I'm confident that I provide value for my service. I've shown them the value I provide. In my case, it'll be, okay, what are you trying to do? Grow your business. How much buy? 1,000 a month, 5,000 a month. What's that worth to you? Well, it's very quantifiable for me, because if someone's at 10 grand a month turnover, wants to get to 20, that's another 120,000 pounds a year. If my service is only 750 a month, it's a nominal sum. You know, they're going to give me 8-9 grand to get another 100 profit. Why wouldn't they? And you've got to get them to go through that value as well. So price isn't the issue. If you're getting price consistently, you haven't mastered that meaningful conversation. You haven't got them to spell out the value. You need to go back to that. You need to ask me questions and keep working on it until suddenly it clicks and you're not getting any pushback on price, because it's never about price. So I say, you've got to get them to the point that you are their only choice. You are the one that they know will help them, because you've got them to spell out how much this transaction means to them. Transaction, as my solicitor said to me. So you've got to fix this bucket. Hopefully I've shown you enough reasons why. You've got to pre-sell, you've got to sell on the call, and you've got to follow up. You've just got to be better than your competition at each of those things. And we'll look at optimizing each of those. We'll look at making your pre-sale better, making you get more calls, and making you get more conversions in the next training of the MCO strategy. If you've got other questions, please send them along to me. hello@nickjervis.com, and next time we're going to cover optimization. But I'm here for you guys. Any questions, just ping me an email. I'll make sure I answer them in the questions below this training. Have a fantastic day. Thanks for coming.